Page 261, Hadith 1313, under the chapter Modesty. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said, modesty and belief are both together. If one of them is removed, then the other is removed.
Can you go to the one before that? Sorry.
1312, Imran bin Hussein said, the Prophet ﷺ said, modesty brings nothing but good. Suhaib bin Ka'b said, it is written in the books of wisdom, modesty brings gravity, modesty brings serenity. And Imran said, I relate to you from the Messenger of Allah ﷺ, and you relate to me from your book.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. I intentionally told our doctor here to read from the beginning, from the chapter title, because I need to make sure that I have documented that last time regarding the chapter of Al-Haya. We said that Al-Haya, that the Imam al-Bukhari brought it at the beginning of the book and at the end of the book to show its importance. And also to say that the person who's got Haya, modesty, then definitely it will be easy for him to bring all the adab and the etiquettes in the whole of the book. That's like it's saying to us that the haya is a very important issue. Because the haya, we say it is from the characteristics of the heart. And we said the haya is the humanity. If there is no haya, it's only a blood and flesh, no humanity. And the person will become like an animal. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Now, why did Imran, he had objected on Bushayr? Yet Bushayr, when he wrote from his scroll, from his own book, he said al-haya, serenity, and the haya is respect and gravity. Because there's another narration, which is, for this, where Bushayr, he said, وَإِنَّ مِنَ الْحَيَاءِ ضَعْفًا. And also from the haya, there is weakness. That is why Imran was annoyed. Do you understand now? So I don't know if he added that last week or not. From there, that is why it is da'f. And the da'f means weakness, means cowardness. The person is a coward. But we say the Prophet said, no, all the haya is to do what? Good. All the types of haya is good. Right, 1313. No.
1313, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma said, modesty and belief are both together. If one of them is removed, then the other is removed.
In this hadith, Imam al-Bukhari is telling us the importance of the haya and how linked it is to the iman. We did talk about the haya being part of the iman in the hadith of Abu Hurairah, where the two narrations that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Al-Iman bid'un wa sittun and bid'un wa sab'un. Yes, you remember that hadith? In which we said bid'un wa sab'un is the correct narration. Yes? Why? Because it adds more. And it's 70 plus. This one says 60 plus, one says what? 70 plus branches. We said always the hadith goes to the what? Which is higher number. 70 plus. And he said the highest of it, highest of it, and the bottom of it? Okay, I want somebody to point it to who will answer. Okay, go ahead, you answer. Imam? What is this in English? To remove the harm from the... And, وَالْحَيَاءُ شُعْبَةٌ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ. And so the Prophet said, and the haya and the modesty is a branch of the iman. The haya, the place of it is in the heart. Whereas the iman, some of it is in the heart, some of it is in the tongue, some of it is in the limbs. So the haya is in the heart. So when the Prophet ﷺ saying, وَالْحَيَاءُ مِنَ الْإِيمَانِ, and modesty is from the iman, yet he's saying that the two are linked. If one goes stronger, the other one goes stronger. If the other one goes weaker, the other one goes weaker. And the greatest of all haya is the haya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in the hadith with Imam al-Tirmidhi rahimahullah, in which he says, أعظم الحياء من Allah, that is, استحيوا من الله. استحيوا من الله حق الحياء. You have modesty from Allah, the proper modesty. قلنا يا رسول الله إنا نستحي والحمد لله. We said, Messenger of Allah, we are making haya, walhamdulillah. He said, it's not that, ليس ذاك, but the istihya, the proper one from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is to keep the head and whatever is in it. To observe, preserve the head, whatever is in it. Whatever is in the head, the eyes, seeing, talk. So always protect your hearing from listening to the haram. Protect your eyes from seeing the haram. Protect your tongue from uttering the haram. So if a person hears the haram, sees the haram, and utters the haram, definitely he has haya, which is nothing, almost zero. Because this person, if he hasn't got haya from Allah the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, or Allah azza wa jal, He sees you at any situation, in any place. أَلَمْ يَعْلَمْ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَرَى. Doesn't he know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He sees you? This person who does. So the person, the one who has haya from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the one who is upon haqq, is the one who has got his iman stronger. So from the, as well, observation or preservation of the head is, for example, shaving the head, like we see the youth. They are following the trend and making qaza', shaving here and leaving here. This person definitely, his haya is very weak, almost has no haya. That he has got no haya from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the Prophet tells him not to do that. Or the person who shaves his beard, that's part of the head as well. Definitely his haya is weak. If he's got haya, he will not shave his beard. The person who smokes cigarettes, which is from the part of the second part, all of that from the second part, we say وَالْبَطْنُ وَمَا حَوَى, and whatever goes in the stomach also, this is part 2, to make sure that you have halal there. So when you smoke and drink smoking, haram goes inside. So how can this person who smokes, subhanAllah, he has haya from people? If somebody is, for example, high up, he will not smoke in front of him, then he goes on the toilet, smokes in front of Allah Azza wa Jalla. How can you do that? So if you have haya from the people, at least have haya from Allah. So the أعظم الحياء الحياء من Allah. The highest of haya is the haya from Allah the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this person, he needs to make sure that whatever goes in his belly is halal. جسم نبت من حرام النار أولى منه. Anybody which has been bred and fed from haram, then the fire is the destiny of it. So if every person observe what he goes into his head, even from the evil thoughts, from the bid'ah, and observes what he goes into his belly, then this is from the haya. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he says, وَلِتَذْكُرِ الْمَوْتِ وَالْبِلَى, and let you remember the death. And bila, that means deterioration. You're going to be gone, you're going to be finished. You're going to be gone. So this person should not be preoccupied by the dunya, because this dunya will take away the hayat from you. Remember the death. كَفَى بِالْمَوْتِ وَعِظًا يَا عُمَرْ. Enough of the death of your reminder, O Umar. Prophet ﷺ, he warned us lots of times. اذكروا هادم اللذات. Remember the destroyer of the pleasures. So also he says from the haya, وَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْآخِرَةِ, he who wants and intend the hereafter, تَرَكَ زِنَةَ الدُّنْيَا, he will not be preoccupied by the dunya and its adoration. So if he does this, فَمَنْ فَعَلَ ذَلِكَ اسْتَحْيَا مِنَ اللَّهِ حَقَّ الْحَيَاءِ. Prophet says, if you do this, then you have haya properly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ibn Rajab, rahimahullah, in one of his books, talks about a story between a Bedouin man and Bedouin woman. They were in the desert. They met each other. And the man, Bedouin man, is saying to him, Yallah, there's nobody there. It's only the stars. She said, what about the one who created the stars? Isn't he going to see us? As soon as she said that, the man went away. Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he passes by a shepherd. And he says to him, give me a jazar, just one of these camels that you've got. He said, no, I can't give you even to milk it until the Lord, that means the owner of it, give it to you. He said, just give it to us and you just say that the wolf captured it. Which is, it can be easy, he said. The wolf taken it. He said, Ayn Allah. Where is Allah? So Abdullah said, I am the one who's supposed to say, where is Allah? He's just testing him. I am the one who's supposed to say, where is Allah? So he bought the sheep and he bought the shepherd and he set the shepherd free. And then he gave him the whole sheep to him. So he made him rich. He bought the sheep and he bought as well the shepherd from his master. And he gave the sheep to the master. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, in his haya, with his servant. So he used to bring him food. One day, he brought him and he started eating. So he took about 2-3 morsels inside and he said to him, usually you ask me where I take this from or bring this from. He didn't ask me this time. So he said, where did he bring it? He said, kahan to kahana. That means I went to like soothsayers and meet, soothsaying, which is haram, soothsaying, which is telling the future. And I made money out of that. As soon as Abu Bakr knew about this, his haya prevented him from swallowing it. Not just swallowing, even he had vomited whatever he had taken. And he started vomiting and bringing out whatever he had taken. He said, Subhanallah, it's only one morsel. So you're going to kill yourself. Wallahi, if it takes all my life, nothing will go inside my belly except for halal. This is all the modesty of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu wa arda. What time is it? 21. Now, inshallah, we'll continue after the time.
Chapter 638. Coarseness. 13:14. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, modesty is part of belief. Belief is in the garden. Foul language is part of coarseness, and coarseness is in the fire.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Imam al-Bukhari gives us a chapter which is the opposite of the previous chapter. This chapter is called al-Jafa, the previous one is called al-Haya. And the opposite of the Haya is al-Jafa. Haya is the person who has modesty, so he knows what he says and he will not dare to say something which is below the belt, as they say. Whereas the Jafa is the coarseness, and also the person, he will have this character which is in heart, exactly the same as the Haya is in the heart. And it will result into the toughness of the heart. The toughness of the heart would result into the toughness of the words, of the tongue. And also it will result into bad communication with the people. It will turn into bad and foul language onto the tongue. And that is why it is the opposite of that chapter that is before it. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, the companion who had embraced Islam after the battle of Hunayn, he said that the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Haya'u min al-Iman. Verily, Haya is from the modesty. I didn't say that, did I? Al-Haya'u min al-Iman. And then he says, Al-Iman fil Jannah. That means the people of the Iman are in Jannah. And this, we said, the Haya, as we said, the Haya is the manner that will make the person to embark upon the good and keep him away from the batil, keep him away from the bad things. This is the Haya. And that's why the Prophet of Allah said, Al-Haya'u khayrun kullu. So, Al-Haya is from the Iman, not to say it is the Iman, because he said, what's that? So, the Haya, whenever it goes, the Iman will go. The Haya goes up, the Iman will go up. So the people of Iman, that means the people of the Haya, are in Jannah. This is equivalent to say, that is when the Prophet ﷺ, he says, وَكُلُّ بِدْعَةٍ ضَلَالَةٍ وَكُلُّ ضَلَالَةٍ فِي النَّارِ. And every misguidance, every innovation is a misguidance, and every misguidance will lead to the hellfire. Here, same thing, Al-Haya'u min al-Iman, wal-Imanu fil Jannah. So that means the Haya is part of the Iman, and the Iman will lead to paradise. Then the opposite, that's why the chapter title is وَالْبَذَاءُ مِنَ الْجَفَاءِ. Al-Badha, which is the bad words that comes out from the mouth, which is evil words, bad words, and with no reason. Min al-jafa, from the coarseness, from the shiddah, the ghilwa, the harshness. And this will definitely sever the relationship between you and your brothers, between you and your kinship. And this would lead, wal-jafa'u fi nar, the people of coarseness, it will lead into the hellfire. Just like the Prophet of Allah, he said, isn't it true that the people will be thrown to the hellfire as a result of what their tongues had harvested? Now,
1315 Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a large head and big eyes. When he walked, he bent forward as if he was walking downhill. When he turned around, he turned fully.
Right. The chapter title is coarseness. So what is the link between this hadith and the chapter title? Read the hadith again, and please think. And for those please who are sitting, can you just come forward? Sitting in the back from the shaitans, by the way, action. So come forward with your buddies and don't sit at the back because you're vulnerable for the shaitan. Now.
Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a large...
Close it, please, because you're not allowed.
Ali bin Abi Talib radiallahu anhu said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a large head and big eyes. When he walked, he bent forward as if he was walking down a hill. When he turned around, he turned fully.
Okay, what's the link? Fadl.
When he speaks, he turns around fully, and that is from modesty.
Okay, very good. So this is one of them. The link here is the opposite of what the Prophet ﷺ represents. Prophet of Allah, he had said, his head is massive and he could see it. And his eyes are wide open. وَإِذَا مَشَى تَكَفَّى. And when he walks like, and his head is in, like his body is leaning forward. This is the opposite of arrogance. You know the arrogance, how does he walk? With his back, like this. That's the arrogance. When the person is humble, will go leaning forward. Okay, so he's leaning forward, not leaning back. Backwards is the one who's arrogant. No, the arrogant will be like this. SubhanAllah. And this is the normal walk because it shows you the humbleness of the Prophet. وَإِذَا الْتَفَتَ الْتَفَتَ جَمِيعًا. When he looks, and when he looks all his body. He does not just go like his head. Because the one who looks like this, he's not giving you the respect and the attention. So a person calls you like, yes. So no, he said, yes. So the link is the opposite of this. So the Prophet of Allah is a lump of humbleness. And the jafa is the opposite, which is the person, he will be arrogant, and the way that he talks, he will not be talking in a way which has got humbleness in it. Now, following.
Chapter 639, if you are not modest, then you can do whatever you like.
And this hadith, we have discussed it in 597. Same hadith. And this is from the first thing that you learn from the prophethood. Prophet said the first thing that you learn from the prophethood is if you're not shy, then do whatever you like. So if you're not shy, you could do whatever you like. You could be anything that you want. You could be shouting, you could be disturbing, you could be anything. The person who's modest and he has got shyness, he will never tolerate himself to do such a thing. And we've explained it, and we go to the 1317.
Chapter 640, Anger. 1317. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the strong person is not the one who can knock people down. The strong person is the one who controls himself when he is angry.
And this hadith, we explained part of it, or also most of it, in the hadith 155, where the Prophet ﷺ, and the chapter was to talk about the person who loses a child. So he says, مَا تَعُدُّونَ فِيكُمُ الصُّرَعَةِ. What do you consider amongst you the physical power, this person who's powerful? He said, Messenger of Allah, the one who never been beaten or defeated by the men. He said, no, Surah, the person who's powerful, is the one who holds himself at time of anger. That's the one who's very hot. So the Surah is the one that he's a person undefeatable. Why? Because he's strong. But the Prophet said, not the one who's strong physically, but the one who's strong spiritually. So whenever there is something that would enrage him, he would hold himself, that he would defeat himself. That's the thing. So he's not defeating the people, he's defeating his own self. He's defeating himself and disciplining himself not to go and do enmity and transgress towards others, and also holding his evil from reaching other people. And this is as well from the words that the Prophet ﷺ used to show that the people conception about such a word is not right. Can anybody tell me another word? And the Prophet of Allah, in that book we have discussed before, was got misconception regarding it. The Prophet of Allah said, no, you're not right. This is... Yes? Yes? Huh? Bankruptcy, but it's not this book. Bankruptcy is right. It's in the 155, in there. Al-Raqub. Prophet ﷺ, what do you say about Raqub? He said, Messenger of Raqub is the barren, the one who's got no children. He said, no, Raqub, the one who's got children, but none of them die while he's alive. See, the opposite. You consider Raqub the one who's got no children, and he does not produce children because of something wrong. He said, no, the Raqub is the one who produced lots of children, but none of them die. He does not offer one of them to the hereafter. I mean, he does not die while he's alive. It will be a savior for him from the hellfire. The person who got 3 children definitely has got security against the hellfire. 2 children, security. Prophet was not asked for 1 child, but if he was asked, as long as you've been patient. So if somebody's child died for you, don't hope for children to die, but I'm just saying, if one of your children died and you hold yourself, and you be upon the haqq, that's a security for yourself from the hellfire. And a guarantee for you to get into paradise, because the child will not enter paradise until he says, my father first with me. So he will drag you from your cloak, from your thought, enter with me. So here in this chapter, say the same thing. The chapter is to do with anger. Don't be angry. And the Prophet of Allah, regarding a man, he came to him, he's a messenger of Allah, Awsin, counsel him, prompt me to do something. He said, La tarda. Prompt me, messenger of Allah. La tarda. Don't be angry. 3 times, don't get angry. If you don't get angry, that means everything will be solved. And it's very difficult to get really patient, especially when you get older. Ask me. The more older you get, the more impatient you have. Isn't it true, Uncle? No. No, alhamdulillah. Uncle is the other way around.
Sorry, I was emphatic with my answer.
No, it's good. Because maybe Uncle, at the beginning, can I just ask for the door to be open? Because I'm really having no air now. Like Allah. I'm losing my temper now.
I find myself more patient.
Okay. Well, Uncle, maybe you are more of knowledgeable when you're getting older. But if the person he is the same did not get any more knowledge, he will be tending to have, he will not be edgy when he gets older. Maybe as well, Uncle, you're not surrounded by grandchildren. What are they? Where are they? Where? Yeah. MashaAllah. Do they come to you? MashaAllah. But if you live with them, they don't live with you, do they? You start living with them, then you will talk to me about patience, Uncle. In our countries, the grandfathers, they do live with what? With their sons and the sons of their sons. So he's got the son, he's got 10 children, and the son got 10 children, he's got 30 children. The grandpa is, the one who, they love all of them. But they drive him mad as well. Not the grandchildren, the children themselves. The sons, the older sons. The ones, so not the grandchildren. The grandchildren will love them. But the older ones, the ones who, for example, move his stuff from one place to another. Because he got used all his life, his toothpaste is there, and his toothbrush is there. Suddenly in the morning he finds his toothpaste in the bedroom. Toothbrush is kitchen. Okay, he'll tolerate once, twice, and then after that he's going to lose his temper. So that is why I'm saying, Uncle, that's why when the person gets older, it gets edgy. Okay? And I have seen that through my father, and as well my father's seen through his grandfather. But normally this is the case, would be more There's a difference between impatient and prudent and sedate. A person who gets older will be prudent and sedate and calm to take decisions. But I'm talking about aging. Like, because he got used to a life system. This is the life that he is. You gotta spoil it, you come from nowhere. Change the whole system of his. That's when he loses his temper. And you think, this is right. Well, you suit yourself, you're right, but this is my right. That's what he says. Now, hold yourself at the time of anger, and inshallah you will get it. Number 31318. You're almost finished.
1318, Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu said, there is nothing that is swallowed which has a greater reward with Allah than in the case of a slave of Allah who swallows and contains his rancor out of the desire to please Allah.
Right. There is nothing more rewardable in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a person who's digesting his rancor. Rancor means ghayb. Digesting his resentment. Why? For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why. It's not because he's going to lose his position, not because of some money he's after. It's because of the sake of Allah. And when you digest and swallow your rancor, you hold it, this is really from the person who is holding his anger. Same thing. So, and this will not happen unless you're capable of fulfilling your vendetta. If you're capable of doing what you could do towards that person in terms of punishing him, whatever, but you hold, that's the person. But if the person got no power, I mean, holding the rancor is not going to do, I mean, that, because already you're incapable of doing it. You're incapable of expressing yourself that you're not really pleased with what is happening. But the person who can really fulfill his threat and he holds it, that's the one. So, you need to know that the person all the time, he loves to be in a community. True or not, he doesn't like to be on his own. Person with his real humanity, he's a social person. Always is socialized. And Islam came to confirm this. Because it is part of the fitrah, part of the nature. The person is mixing up and he's all the time. So, but Islam encourages you to associate yourself, not with anybody, with the ones who would lead you to paradise. The salihin, the righteous, the scholars, students of knowledge. That's what you should be about. Because, as our Shaykh al-Albani used to say, الطبع سراق. Wallahi, this is like part of the prophet's words. الطبع سراق. طبع means your nature is a thief. Your nature is a thief. It will adapt. Put a person into an environment of thieves, he will become like them, a thief. Put a person in an environment which are bad people and say bad language, he will buy it without him knowing his nature, his characteristics, start stealing from the characteristics around him. Al-tab'u sarraq. Wallah, this is a word from the Prophet. Because it's got the amount of the prophethood. Even the Prophet ﷺ did not say it, but this is a result of what we have learned from the Messenger of Allah. When you are in an environment, that environment will affect you, regardless of what. And the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ar-rajulu ala dini khalil." The person is always on the religion of his partner, which is this is that. And the Prophet always said, "La tusahib illa mu'mina, wa la yakul ta'amaka illa taqi." Don't accompany except for a believer, and don't make anybody to eat your food except for a taqi, a pious. So the person needs to know who is mixing up with. So he would mix up with the good and keep away from the bad. And this mixing up with the good requires you to be tolerant, to be away from the rancor, to be not a person who is impatient, to be a person who is prudent, to be a person who is all the time, keep a close eye if you see something which is wrong with the brother, that he couldn't help it. And the shaitan, subhanallah, he is very good in making you concentrate on those mistakes. Because you are a human being, you're bound to make mistakes, isn't it? But the shaitan makes this eye of yours to go criticize that mistake. And he wants now to put enmity between the brothers and also bring barriers between them and split their brotherhood. إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ أَيْسَ أَنْ يُعْبَدَ فِي الْعَرَبِ. Prophet said the shaitan had given up to be worshipped in the Arabian Peninsula, or is being worshipped by the people who pray in the Arabian Peninsula, but between them to put enmity, he was successful in that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He had told us to keep away from all these things that would present anger between them, or present this dissolution or disunity amongst us, by bringing the tolerance, which is a samah. Shaitan very good in doing what he's doing, even between Abu Bakr and Umar. You remember the incident? Abu Bakr and Umar. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu enraged Umar, and Umar, he did not forgive. Then Abu Bakr was really so keen to be forgiven, and he asked and he begged Umar, he said no, and he left. Then Abu Bakr went to the Prophet ﷺ, and as soon as the Messenger of Allah saw him, he said, this man, he's like in a dispute. You could see that he's came up, because Abu Bakr is coming and hurrying up and holding his, his garment is coming. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, verily this man, had something had happened to him. So as soon as Abu Bakr told the Prophet of Allah, he said, don't worry, the Prophet of Allah and His Messenger give you excuse. If he doesn't give you excuse, if he doesn't really forgive you, Allah and His Messenger will forgive you. And while he's talking to him, Umar, he comes. And as soon as he came, Umar Khattab, the Prophet of Allah is preparing words like rockets. So Abu Bakr is on his knees. Messenger of Allah, it is you who started it. Messenger of Allah, I'm the one who started that. That means I don't want you to start firing against Umar Khattab. Because the Prophet of Allah is really... And then he told him off. He said, verily, when I declared my message, all of you said I'm a liar except Abu Bakr. All of you did not believe except for Abu Bakr. Abu Bakr, he had protected me with himself and his wealth. So you keep away from my companion. He said, Da'uli sahibi. Leave my companion for me. Don't touch him. Don't tamper with him. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. So if you are a brother who is mixing up with your brothers, make sure that you are tolerant. For the Prophet ﷺ, he said, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنُ الَّذِي يُخَالِطُ النَّاسِ وَيَصْبِرْ عَلَىٰ أَذَاهُ. The person, the believer who mixes up with the people and is patient regarding their harm is better than the believer who does not mix up with the people and he does not be intolerant or forbearing regarding their mistakes. So, لا تغضب, لا تغضب. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ. He's a messenger of Allah. Prompt me and don't give me too many instructions. He's a big word man. Just give me one word, 2 words. He said, لا تغضب. The man, he thought, this is not indeed that much. لا تغضب. Again, لا تغضب. Don't get angry. What does it mean, لا تغضب? Don't get any anger whatsoever? No, don't react when you are angry. That's what it means. So somebody, for example, you are walking with your wife and somebody touched your wife or did something to your wife. Oh, Prophet Allah said, don't angry, I'm not angry, brother. You could touch her again. What does that mean? A'udhu billah. You're going to get angry, this is your nature. But don't react quickly. If he touched her, he could be touched by accident. So if he touched her, you are so angry and then bang into your eye, knock his eye out. And the brother, he tends to be the person who just by accident he touched her. See, make sure that you react according to what you think is fit, not because of your emotion had pushed you to do that and then you regret. That's what it means. Everybody will get angry. No one will not get angry. But the anger from one person to another person is different. Some people is known to be calm, some people is known to be... But I'll tell you what, and as well as too much giving up to people who are rude is not right as well. And the leader, he has to have this charisma of what? Firmness. If he's a person who does not have this firmness, people will take advantage of that. So the leader, from his charisma, he has to have that power that you say, enough is enough. That's it. So he has to have hazm in English, in Arabic. Toughness, steadiness. Don't know what the word hazm. When he's giving the decision, affirmative, yeah. Okay? Decisive. But you can't give the Arabic word. Hazm. Hazan. He's not meaning harsh. Hazan means that everybody respects. If somebody says something, khalas, he said it. That's it. Everybody acknowledges that. But if it's not Hazan, it's washy-washy. Don't listen to him. Because he's a person can change his mind, anything. That's what you. So the father has to be Hazan with his children. With the rahmah. Huh? Yeah, he's a famous. Yeah, that's true. Right, now. And every time you have ghadab, استعيذ بالله. استعيذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Hold. Don't talk. Be quiet. Now.
Chapter 6:4:1. What someone should say when he is angry. 13:19. Sulaiman bin Surad said, 2 men abused each other in the presence of Prophet ﷺ, and one of them began to get angry and his face became red. The Prophet ﷺ looked at him and said, I know some words that if he says them will remove this from him. They are, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed Satan. A man went to that man and said, do you know what he ﷺ said? He said, you should say, I seek refuge with Allah from the accursed Satan. The man said, do you think I'm mad?
Something wrong? Don't put something wrong. It's people, they say it, subhanAllah. Go on. So
the man said, do you think I'm mad?
Right. You know when somebody, for example, enraged and says to somebody something, and the brother says to him, Allah is may Allah forgive you. You know that brother, if he's not really that properly, educated and he doesn't know, why Allah should forgive me? Forgive you, not me. That's a normal reaction. That's what they say. ليش يسامحني الله يسامحك أنت. May Allah forgive you. That means he is, in his mentality, the shaitan had overwhelmed him, and he said that if this man, he says to, even he's the one who started. So the brother said, may Allah forgive you. So instead of Jazakallahu khayran, he says, what do you mean forgive me? That means the shaitan is telling him that means you've got lots of sins, and that is why he's saying to you, Allah, he will forgive you. No, Allah forgive you. You are the one who's got so many sins. Subhanallah. Or he says, Allah yahdik, may Allah guide you. No, Allah yahdik inte. May Allah guide you. So what does it mean? That doesn't guide you, guide him only. If the person doesn't, you realize what he's saying, he's actually saying that, oh Allah, don't want guidance, only guidance for other people. That's how the mentality of this person when he is losing his anger. Prophet ﷺ in the hadith which is narrated by Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu, it is in Sunan Tirmidhi and Dawood and Ibn Majah, and it's authentic. He says, Man katama, or man kadama ghaydan, who he repressed a rancor, a resentment. قال وهو قادر على أن ينفذه, and he's capable of fulfilling what he's been enraged with. He's capable of taking vendetta. He's capable of giving tit for tat. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى دعاه الله على رؤوس الخلائق يوم القيامة. Allah will call him in front of everybody. ثم خيره من الحور العين ما شاء, and he will give him whatever virgin paradise he will. In the virgin paradise, always beautiful, but to give a choice, that's even more beautiful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the virgin of paradise according to what you want. Why? Because you have what? Repressed your anger, your rancor, your ghayr. And that is right. So from those things that you should do is to hold and to say A'udhu billahi. This hadith is being explained in 434, by the way. We have done in 434, but I'm just giving you more enlightenment regarding it. Who is the strong believer? The one who repressed the anger? Or the one who releases his anger? The one who says Allah samha? Or the one who shouts and goes haywire? And he speaks out of the blues. A'udhu billah. And 4 characters of the hypocrite. One of them, إِذَا خَاصَمَ فَجَرَ. If he's in dispute, he will lose it. He loses the plot. He doesn't know what he's saying. So, that is why the Prophet ﷺ said, لَيْسَ الصُّرَعَ. The one who's person who's undefeatable is not the one who can physically beat everybody, but the one who defeats himself. The one who defeats himself, because himself is even more powerful than his enemy, his opponent. So when he defeats himself spiritually to behave and say what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then done well. Right. What drives this person to reply what he had replied and he did not repress his anger? Lots of things. His hatred, his envy. The envy is a result of that, because the shaitan is eager to put that envy and the hatred between the brothers. So he would, when he releases his words, he's arrogant basically. And then he says more than what he should do. You have the right to reply a word to word. He said to you, you're a dog. You said to me, you're a dog. But the shaitan, every time there's anger, he's there. Add, dog and a pig. Add. No one you would say the person would be fair in times of, or moments of like this, it would be fair, would he? He can't be, he doesn't know what he's saying. So if somebody is something, you donkey and a dog, and you start swearing. Because the shaitan is telling you, this is a sign of power. Going to be weak if you say to me, you're a donkey only. Now you have to act to show that you are more powerful than a donkey and a dog. And that will take you to the hellfire. Right. Ibadallah. Go into the following hadith.
Chapter 6:42. A person should be silent when he is angry. 13:20. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, teach and make it easy. Teach and make it easy 3 times. And he went on, when you are angry, be silent twice.
Right. This is again chapter to confirm what has been said before. To be silent when you are angry. There's a hadith which says, if you are standing, sit down. Yes? That hadith said what? Unauthentic. Stand up, sit down. It's going to work. Stand up, sit down, stand up. Alhamdulillah, it's not authentic. So, but this one, to be quiet. Quiet until you think when you're going to respond. Don't react quickly. And grab the opportunity to react in the right moment with the right weight of power. And the Prophet ﷺ, he saw Abu Dhar radiallahu anhu when he had bullied one person, a companion, by his mother. Prophet said, "Ayartahu bi ummih." You bullied him by mentioning his mother. Innaka mru'un fika jahiliyyah. You are a person who's got what? Jahiliyyah. What is Jahiliyyah? The pre-Islamic, the paganism. Okay, the paganism meaning that the paganism at that time, when the person is in dispute with somebody else, he will tell him, yeah, your mother, she fornicates with them. These men, that's how they used to, insult each other. And some of the people they do it these days, they start talking about your sister, she's doing it with this, blah, blah, because she's insulting. A'udhu billah. So the Prophet of Allah did not allow our companion to insult with the same thing. Nor the Prophet of Allah, he said that your mother's got something, but he said you have got jahiliyyah. That's the right response from the Prophet ﷺ to a companion who has done such a thing. And of course, Abu Dhar learned from that. Alimu wa yassiru. Teach what? What the people wants. What the people needs, more important. So, the people want lots of things. They want to be, for example, candidates in elections. We don't want to teach them that. But we want to teach them what they need from the deen. So, and then he says, وَيَسِّرُ, and make it easy for them. So, that is why, from the Taysir, I wanted to teach the Kitab al-Tawheed. I looked. There's 1 or 2 volumes, big ones. I'm going to start with this. I'm making it hard for the people. As soon as they see the book, they're going to run away. He said, this is for somebody who was in university. How can I learn that book? So I thought about it. I said, no. I'll give a simple book. Make him believe it's simple. Make him believe it's simple. At the same time, I will inject it with fatness from someone else. But I need just to make sure that with you brothers as well, to make sure that we have a good translated book. We don't want to make the same mistake with the Sahaba book. So the book in Arabic is the best. Okay, is the best. The book in English, I don't know. So let's just see, inshallah, what that is the book that we want. So please, in 1 or 2 days, your decisions. Okay? And then the brother, he will go ahead and bring us 50 copies, inshallah. We hope for that number. طيب. So he says, and then he said, وَإِذَا غَضِبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ. وَإِذَا غَضِبْتَ فَاسْكُتْ. He said it twice. And if you are angry, be quiet. Now.
Chapter 643, love the one you love in measure. 1321, Ubaid al-Kindi said, I heard Ali say to Ibn Kawwa,
Ibn al-Kawwa,
do you know what the early people have said? Love the one you love in measure. It may be that one day he will be the one you hate. Hate the one you hate in measure. It may be that one day he will be the one you love.
Right. This is from Ali ibn Abi Talib, who says, do you know what the Awwal had said? And the Awwal mean the Prophet ﷺ, because the Prophet of Allah, he said, أحبب حبيبك هونا ما عسى أن يكون بغيضك هونا ما وأبغض بغيضك هونا ما عسى أن يكون حبيبك هونا ما. Meaning, love your person whom you love in a moderate way. Don't go to the ishq. No, what's the ishq? The extreme love. The one who says, if you die, I'm going to die. I'll kill myself. I don't know what I'm going to do without you. I'm going to kill myself. That's the ishq. I don't want it. I do whatever you want me to say. I will say whatever you want me to do. I don't want that. That means when you tell you to do kufr, you're going to do kufr. And that's the ishq. Okay? And we don't, always the ishq. Something is not right. And that's what they Sufi, they say, we have ishq with Allah. Do you understand? They have ishq with Allah. Sufis. No. We have the proper love. We don't have the ishq. The ishq of the people, these Sufis, they think that they are themselves equal to Allah. Somehow. No. We love, and at the same time, what? We fear Allah. With this love, we have fear. We fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the ubudiyah. This is the ubudiyah. You love Him, and at the same time, you fear Him. Right. So, when you love your brother, when you love your lover, when you love your wife, when you love anybody, love them in a measure. How can I love them in a measure? What have I got? A thermometer here? I'm going to stop my love there and just put it there and put a screwdriver and stop it there. What am I going to do? What is the... How can I make sure that I am not exceeding what the Prophet ﷺ had told me? What it means that if the person do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him to do and abstain from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to abstain from regarding his lover, then he is loving him according to what the Prophet of Allah wants him to love him. But if he exceeds that, for example, if he is this person doing to that person things which are displeasing Allah Azza wa Jal, so that wife of his, she's telling him, for example, no harm if we bring, for example, to the house music. No harm to bring in the house things. And you are, because you love so much, you don't want to lose her. So no problem. Music. What about dancers? No problem. As long as you don't lose her. And you add, and you become, no problem. Because you're scared, and because the love of hers had gone above the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's exceeding. But if the person he loves, like the Prophet of Allah, he loved Aisha so much. And he loved Khadija so much. But after Khadija had died, he was in grief and sorrow, but he did not throw himself from the cliff. Or he killed himself or committed suicide or tried to do so. From the love of Khadija, it doesn't mean that I have to stay for idda period. There's no idda period for the men. And that is why when Aisha radiallahu anha, when she said, oh, what a headache I've got, he said, what about if you die before me, Aisha? Then I wash you, shroud you, and then I pray upon you, then I bury you. I bet you're going to go with other women as soon as you bury me. So I'm smiling. So what I'm going to do? I'm going to just moan, don't be great, all of that. I'm going to go to that woman. This is as well loving the Aisha, but he did not tell her that. He never said to her, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to do nothing? He just went smiling. He tolerated the Prophet ﷺ for her. But this is from the love of Aisha. And the love of Aisha did not tell the Prophet ﷺ to stop when she said, Hasbuka Safiya. Safiya, and she's got something wrong. She's short. Prophet ﷺ said to her, you have said a word. If that is to be mixed by the water of the ocean, it would have polluted it. That's backbiting. So this is the love. Ahbib Habibaka Hawlanna. That means whenever he does something wrong, I have to tell him. Whenever he does something displeasing to Allah, I have to stop him. That's loving him. And when you hate someone, hate him as well in a measure. The hate, it doesn't mean that you're this person, well, I wish Allah destroys him. What about, brother, if Allah fixes him? No, I don't want to fix him. Destroy him. SubhanAllah. So if you fix that brother for you, it's better than, well, destroying him. Okay? Oh Allah, oh Lord, make him to be zalim. How can you make Allah make him zalim? But the best you could say, oh Allah, amilhu bi'adlik. This person who I hate, treat him with your justice. If you treat him with justice, that means if he does bad, he will get what? Bad. He will have bad result. Treat him with justice. Because always Allah treats us with what? With His mercy. There's nothing to it. If He treats us with His justice, we will be in the hellfire. Allahumma aminu bi'adlik. And the Prophet ﷺ got so many times annoyed from people who are a'udhu billah, like that man who had been brocaded with silk, if you remember. And he stood on top of the Prophet of Allah. He said, watch your man here. Person who's elevating the coward and putting down the noble. And that is extreme injustice. Prophet of Allah grabbed him and spoke. He said, I could see that you dressed up as someone who has got no common sense. The dress of someone who's got no common sense. And then he left him and then he ignored him and talked to the companions. So the Prophet of Allah, he disliked him so much because he said what he said, but at the same time he had addressed the issue, the situation by admonishing the others. If you want to listen, you want to listen. When a man, if you remember, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud came to tell the Prophet ﷺ while he was divining that gold, this division does not really seek the pleasure of Allah. This is going to tell the Prophet of Allah. So when he told the Prophet of Allah, what did the Prophet do? Did he get angry? Of course he got angry. But what did he say? What did he say? No, we've seen this hadith before. Yalla Afan. Rahimallahu Musa. May Allah have mercy upon him. Musa, لَقَدْ أُوذِيَ أَكْثَرَ مِنْ ذَلِكَ فَصَبَرَ. He was harmed more than that, but he was patient. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentioned Musa. الَّذِينَ آذَوْا مُوسَى فَبَرَّأَهُ اللَّهُ مِمَّا آذَوْا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He had exonerated him from what they have said. They have said lots of things about Musa alayhi salam. One of these things that Musa alayhi salam, every time he, for example, bathes himself, washes himself away from them. He does not get naked like they get naked. So they started saying, oh, he's got big testicles. That's why he's not really showing himself. Started bullying him, person got big testicles. And that's why he's not really showing himself. So Prophet Musa alayhi salam, when he was having a shower, or in the swimming pool, or in the water, like a lake, while he's having his clothes on top of the stone moved by the command of Allah and took his clothes. So Prophet Musa alayhi salam, now he wants his clothes, he's naked. So he went following, and that stone brought him all the way where the people of Israel, they were washing themselves. And he wanted to grab his clothes, and the men saw him. Oh, there's nothing wrong with his testicles. MashaAllah. That was the whole thing. And then he took the clothes and he covered himself and he started beating up that stone. And he even made a mark on that stone. Because he took the clothes away from him. So they had harmed Musa a lot of times, but he was patient. Now, this is the end of the hadith.
The last chapter. Chapter 644, do not let your anger be destruction. 1322. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anhu said, do not let your love to be a total infatuation, do not let your anger be destruction. Aslam asked, how can that be? Umar radiallahu anhu replied, That is, when you love, you are infatuated like a child, and when you hate, you desire your companion's destruction.
This is what I explained just now. How can I just hold myself? How can I apply the hadith? I've got a screwdriver when I put myself? No. We said that when you love, that is, don't make your love kalaf. Kalaf means like behave. A child, how does a child behave? How does a child behave? He behaves like a child. Becomes a childish. So when you love, don't become like a child. You don't account for the responsibility of what you're doing. That's a child. This is a child. He's being tolerated. If he breaks windows, he's tolerated. He's a child. If he goes on top of something, even if he had poked your eye, he's a child. You're not going to get revenge from him. Don't be a child like that when you love someone. So if you, for example, that wife of yours or whatever, the lover of yours, he does something haram, you treat him as a child. That's not right. And also, that doesn't mean that you become a child in front of your spouse. That's what the Prophet he's to behave like a child. That means he doesn't show himself as to be, he is the professor and she's nothing. Don't ever act like this. Don't you show that your wife is idiot and you are the master. No. You should always say, you are the one, nothing, you are the good one. You are the one who knows everything. It's better, otherwise the life will not go on. If you show yourself that you are the one who's daft, that's what the woman can't say that. This is the woman how she is, and this is what you are. Salama, she's the one who gave the right consultation with the Prophet of Allah. She said to him what she said to him in that truth of David. So don't you ever accuse the woman. Yes, the Prophet of Allah, he said to Aisha, verily you women, naqisatu aql. What is that? Your deficiency in the aql. What does that mean? What is that deficiency in the aql? Then they can't remember. They've got lots of things to be preoccupied with. Wishes the children, looking after the husband. Their task is great. So they forget. Naqisatu aql. That means whenever they be a witness, they have to have what? 2 equivalent to 1. It doesn't mean you're naqisatu aql. Yeah, you are naqisatu aql. You got no half brains, No. A'udhu billah. That's not right. Okay? They say that the women, half of the mujtama, half of the society. Yes? That's what they say. Trying to make equalizer. We say the women is all the society. How about that? We're better. The woman is all the society. So you're better off than the Muslim. The Muslim who gave the woman the right to inherit, the right to be an entity. When did the West give the right for the women to be like this? When did they? Long time ago they were deprived from everything. Once she married to her husband, her hair has been stripped off from her name. Drawn up, she became Mrs. So to the husband name. Islam doesn't allow it. She is Aisha bint Abi Bakr, married to the Prophet of Allah. Aisha bint Abi Bakr before and after. Never she said, Aisha, the Hashemite messenger of Allah. She can't have that. Or Aisha Muhammad. That's what the Arab people is to do. They will strip the women, some of them, from their name because they are following the West. And then they will give her the name of what? The husband. True or not, ya akhwana? So why يعملوا كده? Alhamdulillah. And women, she's mashallah. No, in Algeria, in my country, Jordan, she will be taken off. Her name, her father's name, will be the husband name. Until recently, alhamdulillah, her name will stay there and she will say that in the passport, she is the wife of such and such. That's no problem. But to strip her name, right. And then the last paragraph, he says, if you hate, don't make your hatred, that is to ask these people to be perished, to ask these people to be killed, to ask these people to be destroyed, but ask for them to be fixed. May Allah fix them, inshaAllah. أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يكتب لنا ما قد قرأنا وفسرنا في هذا الكتاب في ميزان أعمالنا. وأسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى to put whatever we have read and we have explained in this book into our scale on the day of resurrection. ونسأله سبحانه and asking Allah Azza wa Jal as well al-ikhlas في الدنيا, to be sincere in this dunya, and we only wanted and we sought the pleasure of Allah. And this is a book that I am really proud that I say that I finished it for the very first time in the UK with brothers. Usually is the case, the books before I managed to teach them before, but this is the first time I teach this book. and I have learned myself a lot, and jazakumullahu khairan wa ahsanallahu ilaykum. If you have any questions, we go ahead. Yalla, uncle. No question, uncle, today. Okay, uncle, we'll give you 2 minutes, inshallah, we'll release you. Yalla, please. 2 minutes. Tafadhal ya akhi. Yalla.
You know when you said that hadith about when you hate
2 minutes.
hate with a measure.
Yes, with a measure.
You know when he says you hate, is it about Muslims or the kuffar?
You could hate the Muslim and you could hate the kuffar, but the hatred will be different. The hate of the kuffar, you hate him for two things. Either maybe he sold you a car and he was conning you, for example, and because of the dunya, and you are still hating him for what he does regarding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You hate his actions, but that hate of his action does not prevent you from calling him to the sake of Allah, making da'wah to him. As for the hatred for the Muslim, you never should hate him for his religion. You hate him for the dunya, and that hatred should never as well make you to boycott him, unless that boycotting is done according to the measures that we have discussed before. The boycott is a medicine used at the right time with the right amount. Now, Fadal.
So you spoke about how when one goes older,
He's edgy.
yeah, he gets a bit edgy.
You see, uncle is getting edgy now, he wants to go. Yalla.
He becomes a bit sturdy on his belief and even in the deen of Allah. So for that person who's going a bit older and is adopted a certain way of being,
Yeah.
they're not going to change.
No.
Really hard, so,
Well, if it's the dunya, this man is to do with the dunya, you leave him. This is what he wants. Huh?
for the deen, like for parents maybe, uncles.
In the deen, there's something else. If he's doing something haram, I have to really address that issue. But if it's still to do with the dunya, like for example, you think that he should put his shoes in the place where it's allocated, but he puts his shoes, for example, in his bedroom. Don't argue with him. He can put his shoes in the bedroom. Alas, this is something for him. So you leave him to do what he wants because this is his life. As for the deen, you have to be tolerant in ways of calling him, but you have to call him. You might call somebody else who's better than you. Okay, now inshallah, please, Ya Allah Fan, quickly please, because the question's taking more than the answer. Now. No, what do you mean apply to the sisters? Oh, yeah, I mean for the sisters. Well, always the sisters, brothers, they don't really get hur al-iman. No. Our nature does not allow that, brother. Does not allow that. No. Does not allow that. Okay? Our nature does not allow that. So the women, they will have the best. But this is the virgin of paradise, a woman. They don't have men virgin of paradise. Okay? Now. Shisha, what is shisha, please? That's what I ask. Hookah pipe. What is inside hookah pipe? Is it hashish? Or is it what? Okay. There's no difference between shisha and smoking cigarettes. There's no difference. But it would be more haram if it's got hashish in it. Because usually the case in hookah pipe, they'll put these things like marijuana, hashish. Usually, in Egypt for example, the hookah pipe, most of it is hashisha. And that's why the person will be dizzy. It's like an LSD and all of those drugs, but they are. So the hookah pipe is the same as cigarettes. But it would be more haram if it's drugs. Now, last question. Khalas. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك